Welcome to the 25th and final episode of the Building Interactive Website series. In this final episode, we'll be going over how to deploy our websites to the web so that others can access them as well by making use of a tool called GitHub Pages. So as you can see here, I've coded a website that I want to deploy to the internet. It's just a basic website with a heading and a paragraph and a button that reveals a fun fact. And so right now, only we, the people who are actually writing the code for this website, are able to access it because the code is locked in the sandbox right here. This is where tools like GitHub, which allow us to share and deploy code, come in handy. More specifically, what we're going to be learning in today's video is GitHub Pages, which allows us to deploy HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files into the web. This means that since we learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to make websites in our previous videos, we can actually deploy websites that we've made and share them with others. So to get started, you can select sign up at the top right corner, and then you can create an account by filling in this information right here. Or you can continue with another account that you already have if you have a Google or Apple account already. Once you're done setting up your account, it should take you to a landing page that looks similar to this. So once you're here, you can go to the top right corner and select this plus sign with the drop down saying create new, and you want to create a new repository. Now what you want to name your repository is firstly your username, but all in lowercase, and then add .github.io at the end. And so once we add our HTML files to this repository, then we'll be able to access it. We'll be able to access our website simply by typing in this username.github.io in the address bar. And so we can give it a description if we want to, and we have to make this repository public so that the website is public. And we can add a README if we want to, and then we'll be able to create a repository. Once you're done creating the repository, you should see something like this, except without these files already in here. These are just ones that I added to this website so that all of you watching could access this sandbox here. But if you just created the repository, you should only see a readme.md file if you chose to create one. So now, in order to add the file containing the code for the website, we can create a new file, and then we can name this file index.html so that this is the main page that we first go to when we access the website. Our next step is to copy and paste the code from this sandbox here and then put it inside this index.html file on GitHub. And then once we're done, we can select commit changes, and then it'll automatically generate a commit message for you, but you can also change it if you want to. I can just say added my personal website, and then we can select commit directly to the main branch so that it automatically deploys the website on the web, and then we can click commit changes. And then, as you can see, there's a new file called index.html, which has the code for our website in here. And then you have to wait until this pages build and deployment/build check is fully completed and verified. Once you're done and adding your website is marked as a success, you can type in this here, your username.github.io, and then you can select enter, and then you'll be able to see the website that you just deployed. And as you can see, every part of the website works exactly the same as how it was in the sandbox, except it's now visible to others, meaning you could share the link with whoever you want to. However, let's say next you want to add a subpage inside of this website. To do that, you can create another file, and then for the name of the file, you can first put the name of the subsection of your website. For example, I'm going to be making a blog inside my website, so I can name it blog, and it's all in lowercase because that's the convention for URLs. And so then we can do a /, and then we can name the file index.html again. And then this is the website for my blog. Can get rid of the style here too. And then I can insert the code for my blog in here. And then can commit the changes. This is similar to last time. And then it would likely be beneficial to add a link to the blog inside of your homepage, so you can edit the original index.html file that we created, and then add an A element for an anchor or hyperlink, and then the href attribute as we learned about previously. And then you can type in blog and then / in order to route to the blog page. And then for this link, you can say, view my blog here. And then we can save the changes by committing them. And then finally commit the changes. And then we have to wait for the page changes to fully deploy in order to see our blog in our website. And if I were to reload my website, you can see there's now a link to the blog. And if I were to select it, you can see it links to my blog, the file that we just created before. And additionally, you can go even further with this. This HTML, CSS, JS simple sandbox subsection of the page is actually what I use to host the sandbox that I've been using for all these past few videos. And as you can see, it's very compressed because it uses a lot of code specifically for this code editor right here. But it shows how you can add even more pages. It doesn't have to be just one subsection of the page like a blog. It can also be even more different parts of the page that you can add with folders like this. However, this concludes the Building Interactive Website series. I hope you enjoyed all the videos. If you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much for watching. And make sure to look out for the next coding related series when it comes out.